We can, and I say we as a collective, like we can be aggressive, we can be assertive, we can be masculine, we can basically disregard the family unit. Like, and I'll summarize this, but Thomas Sowell writes about it that post-slavery and the Reconstruction era and in the Jim Crow era in the 50s, 60s, where it's like the most racist, the Black nuclear family was still intact. Mother, father in the home with all the children. Post the 70s, second wave, third wave, radical feminism that told you have sex with whoever you want and then kill the child after, has given us a sense of like, well, my body's not important, my family's not important, having a man is not important. Our music tells us that. Like, country music's not telling anyone to divorce their husband. It's rap music that's telling us, like, get rid of your man, you don't need him. So, like,
facts.
Those stereotypes are born from a true place. It has nothing to do with racism. You know, no offense to anyone who brought it up, but, like, in the most racist time in America, the Black family was intact. So, it's nothing to do with that.
Don't you see that that was a problem for them?
That's why she brought the book. She makes sense.
Good breakdown.
Oh man,
that was great.
That was the most racist time in America when slaves were free.
Well, I would argue that freeing the slaves was the least racist thing that could be done at the time.
So you're quoting that the most unracist time in America.
Well,
the most racist time in America is what you said.
Well, keep in mind that only 1%, less than 1% of the population in 1860, where slavery was at its highest, actually owned slaves.
So did you forget of the drug epidemic that came about in the 60s and 70s that actually split apart the Black families along with the feminists?
Well, the drug epidemic, that's an entirely separate thing. Like, you get into
so it has nothing to do with Black people, African Americans. It wasn't targeted to African American communities.
Well, I don't know about a specific community being targeted, but I mean, Black people.
Okay, I rest my case.
Well,
I don't think we're talking about dating apps specifically, right? Like, I'm not saying
no.
I'm not saying anything about drugs or anything like that. But we're asking, why are Black women swiped on the least? And it's because we do not value other men telling us what to do, being around us, being in our lives. We don't value having their children.
Other men
we
or
have
men.
we have, like, have you ever watched Divorce Court or Judge Joe Brown? It's
Those
always
are
a Black woman.
Yeah, but that's fake. They just asked me to come on there and pay me. What are you talking about? It's fake. Don't go off of that. Come on now.
I understand
that's your
that
logic
it's TV,
to go back to.
Why aren't they gonna ask a white woman to go on Divorce Court? Because she's not gonna be as loud and ratchet and funny and hilarious.
Not public. I come from
She's not going to be as entertaining. We've been the entertainment of the country since before.
What she's trying to say is that in one of the worst times to be an African American, Black families were together. Black women stood by their Black men, as she was saying before, right? So what she's saying now is that fairly equal across the board nowadays, right? And you can argue that minorities might even have an advantage over Caucasians. Yeah. And the stereotypes of Black women are worse now than they were back then, is what she's trying to say.
They are. Yes. Because we have social media.
Right. Well, no, because we are given, I would argue, too much freedom to do whatever we want. And not being held back by some semblance of modesty has made us, like, for the most part, run around in the streets like lawlessly.
Yeah, but isn't that
it doesn't reflect well on us as a whole?
So
you don't think a man is swiping on Tinder, he's gonna be like, well, she's Black, she runs in the street, she's loud, she's obnoxious, she's aggressive, she's masculine, she's rude.
But that's a thing of free will. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Which means if your free will, it means that you
is to
behave.
be masculine and aggressive and assertive.
Yeah, you're controlling your actions.
Right.
However, the man does not have to deal with that. Like, he doesn't have to. So if he sees a Black girl, she may fit that stereotype. She has I'm going to say 70% chance of fitting that stereotype. Wow. Why should he bet on that 70% when he can swipe right?
70?
Not 70. I'm just not 70.
Are you that way?
I just made up that number.
A Black woman, are you that way?
So I mean,
yo, you guys are perpetuating the stereotype by cutting her off.
Yeah.
Real talk. She's trying to articulate her point, and y'all, who cuts her off? The Black girls at the table. Y'all, real talk, are perpetuating the stereotype even further. Here's the thing. Stereotypes exist in some semblance of reality and some semblance of truth. It's upon you as the individual to prove that stereotype wrong. Here, me and him, we're Black too. I get stereotyped. I walk in a store, they think I'm going to steal. They think I'm a bad person. They think I'm a criminal. Girls walk by me on the street, they cross the street, etc. It is what it is. I accept that. It's on me to prove the stereotype wrong because I understand that stereotypes typically are in some form truth.
Yeah.
But when you continue to perpetuate the stereotype, all you do is reinforce the negative stereotype of the race of which you are by proving them right. So I look at it like, no, speak well. Don't be an idiot. Don't listen to, you know, hip hop music that perpetuates a certain stereotype. And if you want to listen to it, it is what it is. But if you actually enact on it, fuck all dudes. I don't need a man, blah, blah, blah. This is why so many guys are like, yo, I don't want to deal with black women because they think that that's a stereotype. Now, are all black women like that? No, of course not.
Obviously, yeah, no.
But, right, there's this mantra out there that, yo, she could act like this. There's a high likelihood she acts like this. So I'm going to go with what's probable versus what's possible.